Atmospheric superrotation at the upper clouds of Venus. Credit ESA, JAXA, J. Peralta and R. Hueso scientists have used ESA's Venus Express to characterize the wind and upper cloud patterns on the night side of Venus for the first time with surprising results. The study shows that atmosphere on Venus' night side behaves very differently to that on the side of the planet facing the Sun, the day side, exhibiting unexpected and previously unseen cloud types, morphologies, and dynamics, some of which appear to be connected to features on the planet's surface. This is the first time we've been able to characterize how the atmosphere circulates on the night side of Venus on a global scale, says Javier Peralta of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA, Japan, and lead author of the new study published in the journal Nature Astronomy. While the atmospheric circulation on the planet's day side has been extensively explored, there was still much to discover about the night side. We found that the cloud patterns there are different to those on the day side, and influenced by Venus topography. Venus' atmosphere is dominated by strong winds that whirl around the planet far faster than Venus itself rotates. This phenomenon, known as superrotation, sees Venusian winds rotating up to 60 times faster than the planet below, pushing and dragging along clouds within the atmosphere as they go. These clouds travel fastest at the upper cloud level, some 65 to 72 kilometers above the surface. We've spent decades studying these superrotating winds by tracking how the upper clouds move on Venus' day side. These are clearly visible in images acquired in ultraviolet light, explains Peralta. However, our models of Venus remain unable to reproduce this superrotation, which clearly indicates that we might be missing some pieces of this puzzle. We focused on the night side because it had been poorly explored. We can see the upper clouds on the planet's night side via the thermal emission, but it's been difficult to observe them properly because the contrast in our infrared images was too low to pick up enough detail. Mysterious fast filaments seen on the night side upper clouds of Venus, observed with the VIRTIS instrument on Venus Express. Credit ESA, S. Naito, R. Hueso and J. Peralta. The team used the visible and infrared thermal imaging spectrometer VIRTIS on ESA's Venus Express spacecraft to observe the clouds in the infrared. VIRTIS enabled us to see these clouds properly for the first time, allowing us to explore what previous teams could not, and we discovered unexpected and surprising results, adds Peralta. Rather than capturing single images, VIRTIS gathered a cube of hundreds of images of Venus acquired simultaneously at different wavelengths. This allowed the team to combine numerous images to improve the visibility of the clouds, and see them at unprecedented quality. The VIRTIS images thus reveal phenomena on Venus' night side that have never before been seen on the day side. The best models for how Venus' atmosphere behaves and circulates, known as global circulation models (GCMs), predict superrotation to occur in much the same way on Venus' night side as on its day side. However, this research by Peralta and his colleagues contradicts these models. Instead, the superrotation seems to be more irregular and chaotic on the night side. Night side upper clouds form different shapes and morphologies than those found elsewhere: large, wavy, patchy, irregular, and filament-like patterns, many of which are unseen in dayside images, and are dominated by unmoving phenomena known as stationary waves. This sequence of images, taken with the VIRTIS instrument on Venus Express, shows stationary waves in the clouds above the night side of the planet. Credit ESA VIRTIS J. Peralta and R. Hueso. Stationary waves are probably what we'd call gravity waves, in other words, rising waves generated lower in Venus' atmosphere that appear not to move with the planet's rotation, says co-author Agustín Sánchez Vega of Universidad del País Vasco in Bilbao, Spain. These waves are concentrated over steep, mountainous areas of Venus. This suggests that the planet's topography is affecting what happens way up above in the clouds. The 3D properties of these stationary waves were also obtained by combining the VIRTIS data with radio science data from the Venus Radio Science Experiment, or VERA, also on Venus Express. A link between atmospheric motion and topography has been spied on Venus before, although on the day side. In a study from last year, researchers found weather patterns and rising waves on the day side of Venus to be directly connected to topographic features on the surface. It was an exciting moment when we realized that some of the cloud features in the VIRTIS images didn't move along with the atmosphere, says Peralta. We had a long debate about whether the results were real until we realized that another team, led by co-author Drive Kouyama, had also independently discovered stationary clouds on the night side using NASA's infrared telescope facility IRTF in Hawaii. Our findings were confirmed when JAXA's Akitsuki spacecraft was inserted into orbit around Venus and immediately spotted the biggest stationary wave ever observed in the solar system on Venus' dayside. This finding raises challenges for existing models of stationary waves. Such waves were expected to be formed by surface winds interacting with obstacles such as surface elevations, a mountain, for example. However, previous Russian missions involving landers have measured surface winds on Venus that may be too weak for this to be true. Additionally, the planet's southern hemisphere where the VIRTIS observed is generally quite low in elevation, and, more mysteriously, stationary waves appear to be missing in Venus' intermediate and lower cloud levels up to roughly 50 kilometers above the surface. We expected to find these waves in the lower levels because we see them in the upper levels, and we thought that they rose up through the cloud from the surface, says co-author Ricardo Hueso of University of the Basque Country in Bilbao, Spain. It's an unexpected result for sure, and we'll all need to revisit our models of Venus to explore its meaning. The effect of topography on atmospheric circulation remains unclear among climate modelers. Many models show that the inclusion or omission of surface topography makes a difference to the resulting behavior seen in Venus' atmosphere, but do not show persistent weather patterns linked to topography. This study challenges our current understanding of climate modeling and, specifically, the superrotation, which is a key phenomenon seen at Venus, says Hakan Svedhem, ESA project scientist for Venus Express. Additionally, it demonstrates the power of combining data from multiple different sources, in this case, remote sensing and radio science data from Venus Express VIRTIS and VERA, complemented by ground-based observations from IRTF specs. This is a significant result for VIRTIS and for Venus Express, and is very important for our knowledge of Venus as a whole. European Space Agency Planetary Science Solar System Venus Express Vertis